folks, last night was the first part of the group rounds in Hollywood on American Idol. I love watching the group rounds. All the drama, it's so much fun, but I hate reviewing them. Because really, it's usually so easy to take notes during the show. You know, you have one person, then the next person, the next person. During group rounds, they're just all jumbled up. You'll see one person, then another person, then you'll go back to the person that you just saw before. So my notes ended up looking like the manifesto of a madman. So I think I've got them sorted out pretty much now. If I stop making sense, well, I usually don't make sense half the time anyway. We saw a few familiar faces out in the crowd. Deandre Brackensick from season 10 was in the crowd. Remember, he was in the group last season with all those stage moms that James Durbin didn't like, and I thought he should have made it further than he did. Scott Dangerfield, who got a golden ticket to Hollywood last season, but ended up not going like a dummy. He is one of the few auditioners, though, that I follow on YouTube, and I think he's fantastic. He's one of my favorites. And Hollie Cavanaugh, who almost made it to the top 24. Now, last season, I didn't believe that she should have even made it to Hollywood, because I didn't really like her audition, but once she was in Hollywood, she impressed me, and so I thought she should have been in the top 24. Anyway, Thursday night show picked up where we left off Wednesday night, with Symone Black laying in the floor in need of medical attention after she took a nosedive off the end of the stage. One of the ladies that was tending to her said, "Does anybody have some Coke? Ask Steven Tyler. He's probably got some in his back pocket. If not, he probably knows where you can get some." Oh, she meant Coca-Cola. How about some water or Gatorade? Would that be better than Coca-Cola? I don't know. What are they required to promote the sponsors even in the case of emergency situations? I don't know. The judges did not immediately get up, but eventually J-Lo did have a couple of guys lower her down into the pit to get a closer look. Would it have been just easier for her just to walk around? I guess not if you've got people paid to do that kind of stuff for you. The contestants that were left on stage decided to start a prayer circle. What a noble thing to do while the cameras are still rolling. I wonder if they were like praying for Symone's well-being, or if they were praying that the judges would let their bad performances slide and send them all through to the next round. Symone was alright though. She went to the hospital with her dad to get checked out, but she's through to the next round, along with Jeremy Rosado, who I thought was just terrible, and needed some mouthwash to clean up that nasty tongue. Never, you would think it would be common sense for people to never eat something that's going to stain their mouth right before going on national television, but I guess some people don't have any common sense. Not so lucky were Ethan Jones, remember the dude who had the bloody head, and his dad was in rehab? Well, it turns out his dad wasn't even in rehab at the time of his audition. He had been in rehab before, but he was long since out. And special needs teacher Lauren Minx also got the axe. So finally, onto the group rounds. 185 people made it through to the group rounds. That is a lot of people. I mean, that's more than made it to Hollywood total in most past seasons. I think like 147 made it to Hollywood in season 8, so that's a lot of people. Speaking of past seasons, we got to see some clips from past seasons. We got to see Nathaniel, what is his name? Yeah, the crybaby. I can't remember. He sent me a hateful message on Twitter one time. Was it Twitter? Or was it MySpace? He sent me a hateful message on MySpace because I talked smack about him. But I think I was nicer to him than I was to most people, but whatever. We got to see Tatiana De Toro. It was so nice to see Tatiana on TV again. And Gina Glocksen, who was one of my favorites from season 6. One thing that hasn't changed from past seasons, though, the contestants are required to form groups of 4 or 5 consisting of both day 1 and day 2 contestants. And every single year, it comes as a surprise to most of them. Don't they even watch the show? Brittany Kerr said, "They threw us a curveball." No, you just didn't do your homework. Police officer Alicia Bernhart was having a hard time finding a group, as well as tent dweller Amy Brumfield. Eventually they formed a group together. Well, Amy has had a lot of experience with police officers. She's been arrested like a zillion times for alcohol-related crimes. Maybe that's what was wrong with her. Maybe she wasn't really feeling sick. Maybe she just had like a hangover. And maybe even if you do have the flu, don't go around announcing it to everyone. Maybe you can let your group members know once you've already found a group. Don't go telling everybody before. Nobody's going to want you in their group getting them sick. So Alicia and Amy and Dustin Cundiff were approached by Jackie, Sarah, and Matheny Treco. Jackie's only condition for joining the group was that Amy not make her sick, and then she gave her a great big hug. You big dummy! That's like asking a lion not to eat you while you're putting your head in its mouth. So finally they had a full group form, but Alicia kept insisting on singing Joy to the World. Nobody wanted to sing that because they thought it was the Christmas song instead of the Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog stupid song. I actually like the Christmas song better than that one, but whatever. So they tossed Alicia to the wayside. I don't blame them. For one, I mean, it's a terrible song. That's why Alicia couldn't find a group. It wasn't because people don't like cops. They wouldn't even have known she was a cop if she hadn't been announcing it to everybody that she approached. She may as well put a blue light and a siren on her head. Eventually she did, though, find a group to sing Stuck Like Glue with her, but the guy in the group was sick, and Alicia couldn't even remember her words, so I don't expect her to do very well. Brielle Von Hugel had an easy time bossing her group around. Well, she already knew what to expect since she was in a group last season with Pia Toscano, but I think her mom was really the one calling the shots. Her mom was standing off to the sidelines, trying to boss the group around. Somebody needs to put a muzzle on that woman. Well, she claims she's not a stage mom. I don't know what else she would call herself. Also claiming not to be a stage dad was Symone Black's father. Well, you know, she's already called him a stage dad, so we knew that's what he was. So when they got back from the hospital, she had to find a group, and it was a little tough for her since all the groups were already formed. Eventually, she found a group singing Mercy, and they better keep her away from the end of the stage when they get up there in front of the judges. She might tumble right off again. Her dad embarrassed her, though. He wanted a group hug with the group. It's not your group. You're just the father. Get away from here. Cowboy Richie Law had a hard time finding a group. Well, of course nobody wants a poor man Scotty McCreery in their group. He's finally teamed up with Phillip Phillips, Heejun Han, and Jaron Jackson to form MIT. I guess MIT is this season's group of misfits. I think they regretted taking him in once they found out that he was going to try to control the group. Heejun said, I don't know what they do in Cowboy Town, but this is not how we break it down. I love Heejun. And that cowboy turned Heejun against all cowboys, even the Dallas Cowboys. Heejun was afraid that all his friends were going to laugh at him because of that stupid cowboy. So anyway, I enjoyed really watching Heejun. I hope he really makes it far because he has just made fun of everybody this year. Well, he's called people pretty. He called Ryan Seacrest pretty after he told him he had a tiny head. And now talking about this cowboy, I just love Heejun. So anyway, one of the groups, the Bettys, were fighting about staying up late. Some of them wanted to stay up and keep practicing, and some of them wanted to go to sleep so their voices wouldn't be shot in the morning. We always know how this turns out. The ones that stay up worrying about what the others are doing usually end up screwing it up on their own performances. Eventually, two of them ended up staying up practicing, and they do just as good to worry about themselves because we all know by now that a group can be complete crap. You just have to learn to stand out in that group and be good on your own. And the group performances are important because if you make it to the top 12, you're going to have to be in a group. See, you're going to have to do group performances every week with people that you may not even want to perform with songs that you may not even want to perform. So I don't know why they're all worried, like that cop. Why was she worried about song choice? You should just find a group that you can stand out in, dummy. So anyway, the show ended with the Bettys going on stage first, but we didn't get to see any performances. So I was really disappointed about that. I wanted to see at least one good performance. My only complaint about the show was that it didn't last long enough. Maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours would have been more entertaining for me. So now we have to wait until next week to find out what happens. It's like a soap opera. But I'm excited about next week, and I thought it was a good show. So anyway, I will see you folks next week. Part 2, group rounds.